thank you very much. And just for the record, we don't hate you. I don't hate you.
Okay.
So pass that along. If I may follow up on some of the questions that have taken place so far here, sir.
Well, not too many. We do have other people. You do have other people, and your ratings aren't as good as some of the other people that are waiting.
Pretty good right now, actually.
Okay. Go ahead, Jim.
If I may ask, sir, you said earlier that that WikiLeaks was revealing information about the Hillary Clinton campaign during the election cycle. You welcomed that. At one,
I was okay with it.
You said you loved WikiLeaks. At another campaign press conference, you called on the Russians to find the missing 30,000 emails. I'm wondering, sir, if you...
Well, she was actually missing 33, and then that got extended with a whole pile after that.
Off a little bit too.
No, but I did say 30, but it was actually higher than that.
If I may ask you, sir, it sounds as though you do not have much credibility here when it comes to leaking, if that is something that you encouraged in the campaign.
Fair question. Ready?
If I may ask you that.
No, but let me do one at a time. Do you mind?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, in one case, you're talking about highly classified information. You look at your show that goes on at 10 o'clock in the evening. You just take a look at that show. That is a constant hit. The panel is almost always exclusive anti-Trump. Should I let him have a little bit more? What do you think, Peter? Peter, should I let him have a little bit more? Sit down. Sit down. We'll get it.
Just because of the attack of fake news and attacking our network, I just want to ask you, sir.
I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine...
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you...
You're not related to our new...
I am not related, sir, no. I do like the sound of Secretary Acosta, I must say.
You know, I looked at that name. I said, wait a minute. Is there any relation there? Alex Acosta.
I'm sure you checked that out, sir.
No, I checked it. They said, no, sir. I said, do me a favor. Go back and check the family tree.
Okay, I'm thinking there's a little bromance going on there. Joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, Bryon York, chief political correspondent with the Washington Examiner, and Mike Gallagher, host of the Mike Gallagher radio show, both Fox News contributors. And shall we start with Bryon and this little love affair that went back? It looked like they're kind of making up a little bit there on that last little mark about his family name.
Well, I think Trump has been playing with them for quite a while. You know that phrase that somebody's living rent-free in someone's head? I think Trump is kind of living rent-free in CNN's head, and every time he calls them fake news, they say, no, we're not, no, we're not. And, and then today he says, well, I have a new name for you. Very fake news. Yeah. And, I just think that, for their sake, they just have to kind of ignore this stuff, ask the question, go straight ahead, and not get distracted in this way that Trump is throwing out fake news at them.
It just feels like we're all in on the joke, and they're not. I mean, it's just fascinating. You want an example of fake news, Tom? How about the headline from today's press conference? Trump rails about Hillary. Well, did you notice Jim Acosta was asking him about Hillary in the emails? He responds, and then they try to make it look like he's ranting and raving. He's not. He's having the time of his life. Today's press conference represents everything about Trump's amazing candidacy that got him elected. I mean, it's exactly what people, all over the country are cheering for, and CNN and others in the mainstream media don't get it. They don't understand it.
Bryon, on my radio show today, my Twitter feed lit up on this whole thing, and we have people from the left and the right. We have anti-Trumpers, pro-Trumpers, everybody else in there. But there is a strong anti-media commentary going on because of all of this. What's your take? You're a journalist.
Well, look, Trump has made a lot of hay out of attacking the media. The problem is they're so vulnerable to attack because, they have written a number of stories that were just dead wrong, and some of the networks just seem to have put themselves in an overly just an extremely adversarial position to Trump. So he does hit back. People don't trust what they have to say. But I think one bigger thing you saw in this press conference is Trump has a way of communicating to people that works, especially not on the coast, but works in a large part of the country. And people in the press have just never gotten it. They didn't get it during the campaign, and they don't get it now. And I think that if you did a focus group of a number of people in the heartland of this press conference, and then a group of people in the press in the Acela corridor, the impressions would be extremely different.
Yeah, but Mike, it really comes down to, too, I've heard a lot of pundits commenting about the fact that if you like Donald Trump, you loved this news conference today. If you don't like Donald Trump, you think, okay, there's something, he's insane. I mean, it's just, they're calling him every name in the book, that unfit, all the things that they called him during the election that did not work.
Well, that's the point. It didn't work, but you're right. They're sticking to their guns. Tom, you're completely right that if you don't like President Trump, then this press conference was just a burr in your saddle. You just hated the way it turned out. If you're pulling for him and you want him to succeed, then taking on the news media, I mean, these guys are so unpopular, and he knows it. He knows that's why he won't relinquish his Twitter account. He continues to tweet because he feels he's going directly to the American people. He's bypassing all these guys, and it's enormously successful for him.
Byron, listen, this was fascinating today. I could not look away. It was like a moth to a light bulb. But how long can this go on before people go, I've seen this show?
I think it could go on for quite a while. I mean, to pick up on something that Mike just said about going over the heads of the press, I think that's what you're seeing in Trump scheduling an actual campaign-style rally in Melbourne, Florida on Saturday. And I think you get the idea that Trump has felt that he's been a little too boxed in Washington. He's letting other people, including the press, set the agenda for him. He wants to get out, get back to the way he was in the campaign, where he could communicate more directly with people. And I think that you're going to see more of that. And you know, a performance like we saw today, you don't do it every day. Trump hasn't had a news conference like that, but I do think it's very effective periodically, and certainly given all the bad news that he's had this week, I think it was a smart thing to come out and do.
You also don't see a rally like this 3 months into the presidency. Everything about Saturday's rally is driving the mainstream media crazy, and there'll be thousands and thousands of excited people who are going to go to Melbourne, Florida this weekend.
It's all a reminder of the success he had in the campaign. Absolutely.
Bingo.
All right. Go ahead, Byron.
I think there's a real point in that rally, too. He's done a lot of things already, the Trans-Pacific Pipeline, Obamacare, immigration, federal regulations, a lot of actual accomplishments that all kind of got lost in this big fire hose of activity. I think it's time for him to go out and actually sell and try to build support for what he's done.
That's an excellent point. Excellent point.